Welcome to Journey to Joy Live, a podcast to promote wellness, resilience, and inspire joy. Be empowered to balance your mental, physical, financial, aspirational, and social health while providing mental health awareness and breaking down the stigma of mental illness in the Black community. I'm your host, Dr. If Joy, and I'm here to help you transform life's challenges into opportunities for joy. Let's begin the journey together. Hello, we are in episode 117. Self-care is life care. We are preventing suicide with daily wellness. And this is not her first time. It's not her second time. It's her third time as guest on Journey to Joy Live, Dr. Aleema Zakers.
Yes,
welcome back. So you're on episode 17 in New York, and then episode 80. And you said your favorite number was a 17, right?
So back for 117.
117. Catching a trend here.
Congrats.
Thank you. So if you look up like the awareness month for September in any month, it's like multiple awareness months. But the ones that I'm highlighting is Suicide Prevention Month and Self-Care Awareness Month. So we are merging those two because self-care and daily wellness is like life care and can heal you potentially and save a life. And so we're as psychiatrists, we're very comfortable talking about uncomfortable things. And people don't like talking about suicide and death, but we got to get comfortable talking about uncomfortable things so that we can save a life. So, not everybody's seen you on here, so go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us what you do.
I'm Aleema Zakers, and I'm a child and adolescent psychiatrist, board certified in adult and child and adolescent, and I founded Lakshmi Health and Wellness, and we are merging this idea of wellness into mental health, but taking it to like the next level.
Oh, what's the next level? Tell me more.
So the next level is more of like that mindfulness and yoga and using that as a tool for like actual mental and physical wellness. And in addition to if we need meds or supplements or whatever else, very utilitarian. Whatever works, that's what we're going to do.
I love that because people get scared to come to a psychiatrist because they think we're going to throw some pills at them. But literally, you and I, we don't do that. We're preaching therapy, self-care, wellness, yoga, breathing, and all the things because that is really helpful. And, medication if you really, really need it, but you don't always need medication.
Yeah, especially when we're dealing with kids and stigma in our communities about these things and really meeting people where they are at and trying what speaks to them, like, okay, this can work for me. I can do this. And they have that skin in the game and they're realizing that they're the ones doing the work and they're not using something external to fix them. I think they're very empowering and helpful. I think one of the big public health failures is that in psychiatry, people think something external is going to fix them. Case.
Not always the case.
Yeah. Like they still have to do the work. Even if we can like bring it down a notch, they still have to do the work. Otherwise, it just doesn't work,
It takes the internal work. Yeah. The medication, unlike antihypertensive, it brings down your blood pressure. The medication for depression, anxiety doesn't always fix it 100%. So constantly I'm talking about how you have
butter is at least not wanting to die and wiping your butt, right? Like these are the bread and butter of antidepressants. Other than that, it's kind of at least you're alive and you're clean, you're eating and sleeping. You got basic stuff. The meds can do that. Everything else you got to do.
Exactly. You got to change your mind, renew the mind, refresh the mind, reset it, all the things.
And sometimes I'll just, okay, how much of this are you willing to let go of right now, right? Because some people have told themselves this story that they're sick for so long that they don't have any other story to tell themselves? How much are
Yeah.
you willing to let go of? You're sick. Okay. What about what area are you good at? Can we expand that? Are you also good in this and all these things? Just
Yeah.
using where they're already at to like expand and grow.
Yeah, like that learned helplessness. They're just used to being sad, used to being in the dumps. They don't know what happiness looks like. And some people kind of fear it, or they just don't believe they can ever get to that point.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I've had kids be like, yep, I guess this is as good as it gets. I'm like, no, boo boo.
Yeah.
This is not okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Better than this. They're like, really? No one has ever told me that. I don't know why.
Right. They hope you experience it. I mean, that hope can be what actually helps you get to your joy just by purely just knowing, like, yeah, you can get there.
It's true. It's true. And I think that's kind of sometimes, especially with kids, it's just an escape. You're feeling trapped and I can kill myself. That's an escape. And then some people are telling themselves, and this is the story, well, if it doesn't work out, at least I can do this. So sometimes what we'll do is say, okay, what other escapes can you have? Does it have to be death? I mean, can you join the circus? Like,
yeah, get your mind on something else. I mean, because like, although it feels like forever, I mean, it really is temporary. So using a permanent solution like suicide.
Yeah, but if you start to get them to think about other ways to escape, and they can realize, oh, this is a way that in my mind I can escape this trappedness. And if I can say, oh, I don't have to be trapped, I can legit like go join, Cirque du Soleil because I'm flexible. Right? Like,
so that's their way to escape.
Right. You can escape. You don't have to be in this life. You don't have to be going to the school. You don't, these are things that you are choosing to do day to day or choosing not to do. You're not choosing to like do your work or do all these things. Yes, it may be hard to do other things. And we're not saying that it's work. That's why we call it work, but
therapeutic work.
Right? But they are choices that you make on a daily basis.
Yeah. For sure. So you're both a psychiatrist and a yoga instructor. So at what point, led you to merge traditional medicine with yoga and wellness practices?
Well, I actually did some mission trips, and one of them was in India, and I was at a clinic that had a yogi and an Ayurveda doctor there. So they already merged it, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. I need to learn this. And so I stayed and learned yoga from the master there.
Oh, yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I remember you talking about that last time. I'm sure somebody's on here like, oh, really? She did all that? That is so cool. Yeah, well, let's get right in. So how can self-care practices like yoga and mindfulness actually play a role in preventing depression and from escalating from suicide?
But I think all of it, I don't think it's anything new. Your grandma tells you need to eat well and get some sleep. Like none of this stuff is new. We didn't invent any of this stuff. Taking care of your body, getting fuel. And I tell patients, you can't drive to Florida without any gas, right? Like you got to put fuel in the tank to be able to get to your destination. That's the same with your body and your brain. You got to feed it so it can get to your destination. Your brain's not going to work right if you don't rest it, and it'll overheat if we go with the car analogy and all these things, right? So just the basic things. Like I've had people who they were basically sleep deprived, but did not know it. And they were just kids, obvious. Well, I hope it's obvious that it's kids. I hope adults
it can be adults too.
Right? But they were just like, yeah, it takes me a really long time to do like the simplest programs. I can't concentrate. I have to like reread. I'm doing all this. I'm sluggish. I don't have energy. I'm like, okay, how many hours are you getting of sleep? Maybe 4, but then I'll try to get a nap. I'm like,
oh, wow.
Enough. Maybe you can do that, pull that for a night or two, because you're young, but you can't do that. It's not a long-term thing that you can do. And really, they just started sleeping properly and they were fine. They didn't need any at all.
I mean, lack of sleep is huge. I mean, insomnia, there could be many reasons why they're not sleeping, but that's huge.
Yeah, but
So
it's
you
just it was purely sleep hygiene. Not even that they had problems
wow.
going to sleep, except for that they
Oh,
wanted to
sleep
like,
hygiene. Well,
yeah,
especially if it's a teenager, because I've even asked
they
teenagers, I'm
wanted to
like,
stay up, they wanted to study, they
yeah.
got to do this,
Mm-hmm.
that. But I mean, they were like stressed out because of these exams and all of this stuff, and they got to study.
Mm.
But then now it's taking like 5 hours to do the homework because they're sleep deprived. When it really, if you got some sleep, it would take you 30
If you
minutes.
prioritized it, because people don't prioritize it, they feel like they need to
Right.
like disrupt their sleep in order to get the things done.
Yes, and then you throw off your sleep and it's a whole cycle, right? So just like people with serious mental illness, the first thing, and every psychiatrist will always ask you about sleep and apnea. Like every psychiatrist, because it's that important to your mental health.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
those are like basic things that your grandma tells you, right? Like,
Yeah.
are you eating, baby?
Exactly. And that's the main thing people don't want to do the work for. They want to get a medication to help them sleep. And I'm just like, look, did you do all this sleep hygiene?
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
know, whatever works. The yoga at night, exercising can help.
Yeah.
Candles, baths, reading, whatever it is.
Do what works for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But do it. And then some people, we got to remind them, and I like to have accountability checks like, okay, because last time you had told me that this worked really well, but now you're saying you're not doing it anymore and you're feeling like this. And they're like, oh, I know, you're right. Like, okay, look, you know this, I'm just reminding you, go ahead and do you. You know, like,
Yes.
you got to know the formula to your own success. What makes you successful, you know? And so we start to catalog and say, okay, when I'm eating well, when I'm sleeping well, this is the results that I get. And remember that when you're stressed, because those are the first things that goes. You stop eating properly, eating fast food or not eating at all, or like doing whatever, you're not sleeping properly, you're not exercising, you cut all the things that your body actually
The
needs
healthy
out
things.
and
Yeah.
think it's going to perform better somehow.
Yeah.
Not very
Yeah.
logical, but definitely always the first thing that goes. So just reminding yourself, have accountability buddies, and they can remind you, you're a little off. Have you been eating right? Did you exercise? Like,
Exactly. Especially if they know you and what works for you.
yeah, exactly. Sometimes if like I'll go running and I'm like, oh, that's what was wrong with me. I just needed a good run. You know?
Exactly.
Like I was a little
Yeah.
off, and that's what was wrong. I just needed
I
a
already
run.
know. I mean, you might call it obsessive. I run every day. I'm like, I already know what happens.
Okay, watch your knees
So.
there, sister. Watch your knees.
Well, you know what? They say you should take a day off, but think about this. If I work out on Tuesday morning and then Wednesday night, that's 36 hours in between. That's a day off.
Rationalizing. That is an example of, for the guests, that's an example of rationalization. This
It's
is
a
her
day off.
coping. This is her coping mechanism. Now we know.
Well, okay. Well, yesterday I got on the bike. So maybe I should say I exercise every day, but maybe it's not running every day.
Okay, there you go.
It's
So
true.
my coping is humor, yours is rationalization. Now that we've established.
And humor. I love to laugh.
Nice.
In fact, I even laugh with my patients, and ooh, that
I really
backfired
have a whole
yesterday.
yoga that's just laughing. Like that's what the
Oh,
yoga session is, because
what?
that adage is that kids laugh so much during the day, and that's what gives them energy and pep and gets their neurotransmitters going. And so if you can recreate that, then you can have like a fountain of youth type of thing. So I've done some of these yoga classes.
Cool. So what
Yeah.
you doing yoga poses while laughing? Or you
You're
watching
like
something?
laughing, like during like 30 minutes of laughing. So
So
sometimes,
not actual poses. I always think
right,
of yoga as a
the
pose.
whole thing is laughing, but you stop thinking about other stuff. And then like there, the instructor was like laughing funny. So then that would be funny. And then you're like,
So you're just laughing, like no one's there telling jokes to make you laugh.
no,
You
you're
just
like laughing. The whole point is just to like laugh. And then
oh man.
somehow things are funny in the room, and then it kind of becomes a little bit more natural. But it's very weird when you go into the laughing yoga. It's just like, okay, so now you laugh. Like, yes, start laughing.
Well, see, your laughter in and of itself is contagious. And anytime you're talking, you have a smile on your face. Like when you're talking to patients, do you have a smile on your face?
My husband was like, I don't know if this is professional. You be laughing up a storm when you're
Right.
is that, I'm like, but when you can relate to patients, that's the biggest thing. Psychiatrists started getting this blank face because it's better not to show artificial emotion than it is to show, like, it's better to show nothing if you can't be genuine. But if you can be genuine, that is way better. And kids will not let you get away with that.
Exactly.
Kids are not going to let you get away with like, but I think the only time I really am like, have this kind of more stern blank is if we're talking about trauma, or if the situation like is suicide stuff. I'm not popping jokes. Those are like, okay, you go into your problem solve mode. Is this a situation? Do I need to hospitalize you? Like, what's happening right now?
Right. And that's kind of like a joke. Yeah.
Switch that. But in general, you should be able to be personable because people are telling you their intimate things, and to be able to treat them properly, they're the best knower. They have to let you in on that information, or you're not going to be able to treat them properly. So if you have like a safe, inviting, validating space, that takes genuine emotion. So
sure.
Yeah,
you're not a robot. You can't be a robot as a psychiatrist.
Yeah, unless you're adult psychiatrist. Then
well, and I think that throws people off sometimes because my humor in sessions, people get it and they laugh and they accept it. But I had one encounter yesterday, and it was the first encounter ever where the parent didn't get it, and they were actually offended. And I was just like, oh, no. Well, you know what? Yeah, it actually went way downhill after that too. I'm not even joking. Like, I had to go through some reset at the end of that session and some self-care, my own self. But I told myself, I'm like, it's not me. It was not me. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
That's good. Some peer review that.
Oh gosh, yeah, I could debrief with you when we're not online. But oh Lord, psychiatrists need to ground and self-care too. And so
because there's like secondary trauma is a real thing.
Oh yeah.
And I actually like dealing with trauma because I feel like I can actually help people. I even got training in EMDR, the eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, and found it to be really helpful, especially because the brain is so malleable when they're younger. That it works a lot faster and it's a lot easier on them and me. So
yeah, that's true. Stuff that we advise. I just did a talk last week to mental health professionals, and I asked, what is some advice that you give patients that you never do? Because there are things that we tell patients that we don't even do ourselves. And that used to be grounding for me. I wouldn't do it. And then I started doing it, and I'm like, oh yeah, this works. My five senses. Oh,
yes, I'm definitely a bit protective of my sleep because I know if I'm off, the whole house is going to be off because I'm that kind of anchor and doing all that. So I need to be well rested to handle all the things that happen. So when I'm well rested, I get up, I still do my meditation, ground before the house becomes chaotic.
Oh my gosh, you have to do that. And like all of this about this self-care thing, that's the thing. You have to have a self-care routine in place. You don't wait till the bad thing happens. When the bad thing happens, you got something else in place for that. But you have to have your regular routine to just maintain.
Yeah, but I think some people find it difficult to maintain a routine, and it's really easy to get off, but harder to like get back into it. So having those like accountability buddies or doing stuff with other people, checking in, I think is really helpful, and leaning on your support system, because they can help you with that kind of accountability. Like, when's the last time you ran? But having those people who can really, that you really trust in that way, because you don't want someone to be like, what you eat, right? Like, that's not helpful.
Judging you, right? It's someone to listen to,
right? But like, but like more caring and like, okay, let's cook dinner and we'll cook this new recipe together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or something like this. And a lot of times the college students, especially when they are getting off or it's midterm, like get your friends together, you cook one meal a week. And everyone just cooks one meal a week. You guys share
Oh,
it.
that's cool.
Yeah. So then they can like maintain that and still
Mhm.
have like quality foods.
And that sense of community and social connectedness helps.
Exactly, especially for the students who are not like um, native to the U.S. or to this region
Mm,
or to this area. That really kind of helps and gets them kind of grounded too. Especially if they can have people who eat the same type of foods or
yeah,
they're used to. That's really grounding for them.
for sure. And some people think that self-care is like a luxury, and that's a really dangerous mindset when you feel like, oh, I don't have the money to practice my self-care. I don't have the luxury. That's
But
just for people who are
I
rich.
think also when you talk about self-care, it depends on like what you're saying exactly.
Yeah.
Because some of the stuff can be, but the basic stuff is free. Like,
What are those basic stuff? Because some people really don't know. We're not always
things
talking
are
about the
basic.
spa day.
You
Huh?
don't need sleeping and eating are basic. Like exercising, you really don't need to have a gym membership to exercise.
Correct.
So I mean, those things are basic and can be free.
That's
So
good.
even
The
when
sun is free.
right. And sometimes, like, I'll tell the student, they're like, oh, I can't afford these classes and like exercise classes or whatever. Like, get a group of friends together, have a little YouTube video of exercise you guys like, and do it together. There you go. Group yoga.
There
Everyone,
it is.
like, I mean, everything doesn't have to be like super expensive or any of that stuff. I mean, we had one, I was in Egypt for what was that for GI? I was in Egypt
Uh-huh.
for GI, and
A
there was
rotation.
yeah,
A
for rotation.
rotation.
There's like a brilliant surgeon there who was like in her 20s and already in residency, and the guys did not like that whatsoever. They were like hating on her hard, and they were like putting her on call all the time. So I was like, yeah, let's get together. We went to the call room. We had the little thing for your feet. We did a makeshift
Yeah.
nail salon. We did each other's
Oh,
hair. Like, group and community really help you get through these things. And it didn't take a lot. Someone had the foot thing, someone else had something for the nails, everyone has nail polish, so like we just got together and did the
aw.
healing and brought it to her. So all
Wow.
of those type of things, like you're socializing,
Mhm.
plus you're taking care of that extra little level of yourself, and
Mhm.
you're like bringing it all together, and you just feel better when you feel put together.
For sure. Now, if someone's thinking like, okay, you say self-care, life care, if they're suicidal, they're actively suicidal, of course, call 988, do all those things. But can they actually practice yoga or some type of wellness to get them out of that headspace?
So yes, but what we try to do is engage the frontal lobe. So let's, because when you're in that mode, in crisis mode, and it's not always suicidal, it could be anger or rage or any of those things. Your
Mhm.
frontal lobe is not engaged. That is like primitive fight or flight. You're seeing red. You're not with us, right? Like,
Yeah, right.
engage the frontal lobe, and different people can do it in different ways, but if you can engage that frontal lobe, then you go back to that higher level reasoning and thinking mind. So some ways we do that is have them solve problems or like
Mm.
they can like solve some problem. It can be small or big, like some multiplication, something like helpful, like just get them into a different mindset. Then
Yeah.
they can kind of snap out of it, engage the frontal lobe to like get back to the right mind, their thinking
That's
mind.
good. That's good. Yeah, I mean, because the problem is that you get stuck in this space, and so it's a matter of getting out of that. So whether it's the grounding, but switching yourself over. I love that.
Yeah, you got to engage that frontal lobe. And maybe it's like those breaths because you have to count them. So you're engaging that through the counting, because cavemen were not doing multiplication. So
cavemen were doing deep breathing though.
Yeah. No.
Fight or flight.
Exactly. But if you're taking those short, shallow breaths, you're not getting oxygen to your brain, right?
Yeah.
So you need to get oxygen to your brain for it to work properly. So that is one, you're getting oxygen with the deep breathing, plus you're counting. Like, let's say you're doing box breathing, 4 in, hold for 4, exhale for 4, then 4 at the bottom, right? So that you're engaging your frontal lobe and engaging your lungs, getting oxygen to your brain. All of this is like the science behind it, but if you actually do it properly in that moment, then that's why it can work.
Oh, that's good. So that's pretty simple. Like if somebody was with a family member or a friend that was going through that, they can just tell them to do box breathing, you think?
It depends on what state in their relationship with the person, right? Like one, especially if it's like a trauma situation or fight or flight or something like that, the thing that they need to do is feel safe.
Yeah.
That person does not feel safe. And then first step from any trauma, they need to feel safe in the situation. So that is the first thing. So if they're someone who responds to touch, you just need to like hold them and say, I got you, you're safe, you know, I'm here. You know, they just need to feel safe and loved in that moment. And then you can start to like use some of these other tools. But especially with those things, they just need to feel safe.
Oh, that's really good. So once they feel safe, maybe they can be in the space to be able to receive like any type of.
Yes. And a lot of times, unfortunately, in the communities now that we serve, you're seeing so much trauma, but people don't even realize it's trauma. So I would always go into a situation probably assuming that there's some trauma behind it, because you can't go wrong with that. Right? Like, so, and everyone has experienced bad things, right? Everyone can respond to feeling safe and comforted. But that doesn't mean that you can touch them, depending on what kind of trauma and who you are in that situation. But you need them to feel like safe and calm and protected, whatever that means to them.
Yeah, that's so important. I love it. Yeah, because a lot of people just feel uncomfortable. And you know, QPR, I was talking about that last week. It's like the CPR for crisis intervention. So question, persuade, refer. And so a lot of people don't know what to do when they have a friend or a family member in crisis. So just asking the question like, hey, do you want to hurt yourself? Persuading them to get help, and then helping refer them to get help is extremely important.
After you do all this other stuff.
Exactly. Right, because if you're like, okay, let me just get you some help. You might persuade them if they're like holding the knife right there.
Yeah, and sometimes just holding the space with them without too much stimuli. So a lot of times we'll dim the lights if that's possible, or get people away, give them space, have the noise needs to come down. Decreasing the stimuli can make people feel safer too. So just make the environment safer. Like kids, sometimes if they already have a stuffy, give them the stuffy, like give them a blanket, make them feel warm, comfortable in that situation. Do you need water? Do you need like just physically comfortable? Because a lot of times for meditation to happen, we start from kind of the outside in, thinking about your physical body, then your breathing, then you can now manage your thoughts and those and emotions.
That's good. Outside in. So your environment, making sure you're safe, then your physical body, your comfort, and then going on the inside. That's good.
It's been around for thousands of years. Who knew? I know when I started residency for psychiatry, they're like, you're a natural. I'm like,
and at what point were you in India? Was that
was between medical school and residency?
Oh, so that's why by the time you got there, they're like, oh, you know,
like, you're a natural. Like, this is not new stuff. None of this is new. None of it.
Right. Right. It's just a matter of doing it. It's like a
It
lot of us
is,
know
but
it.
it's also a matter of like the frame of reference you're coming from too. If you
Mhm.
feel like this is an other outside Western white thing, then you may not be super receptive to it. If you feel like this is
Mhm.
a traditional medicine, some people are more receptive. It's the same stuff.
True.
It's the same stuff. It's just like, and so that's also why it's important to have people who you can trust and look like you, who can understand things from different points of views. Because I wouldn't just say that just because someone looks like you, they
Yeah.
understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But I think in general, you just need someone who's open and minded enough to listen to where you're coming from and accept it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the key. And that's where therapy can come in at if you just really don't have anyone in your life like that, it's
But
okay.
even if you do, you don't always want people in your life to know all this stuff about you.
Exactly.
So, or you don't want to burden them because what can they do? But at least if you're going to a professional, it is their job to know, to help you to navigate this and to know what to do about it. But just like I tell kids, like these thoughts are heavy, right? These are really serious thoughts, and it's too much
Yeah.
for you. It's going to be too much for someone your age too. This is an
Mhm.
adult. This is the time to bring an adult in the conversation.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you're thinking these or a peer is thinking these, that's an adult level situation. That's when it's time to bring in adults, bump all of this solidarity. I can
No.
this is like
Keep it in, that makes it worse. No.
yeah, but they don't, that's not how their minds work. They're like, I
Yeah.
can do it. I don't want to be a burden. I'm viewed as perfect kid, or I don't want to make it's already hard. I don't want to make it harder. I can handle it. This is the things we
Oh
hear all
yeah.
the
That's how burnout comes, more stress than depression. Then like, oh, if I'm a burden, then I might as well take myself out. And that's you got to change your way of thinking because it easily gets
yes,
that.
but those are for sure adult level conversations, but those aren't always like if you're telling people in your family, they may not know what to do. Like go see someone about that. Like
Well, yeah, and some people are like, oh no, you're not depressed. You're okay. And it's kind of like, oh, I'm not. And then you just go back to yourself and just
but
like,
I think it's partly also because it's a heavy thing for them to deal with too. Like if
mm-hmm.
that's true, what does that mean for that other person or that mother or that if
They're
your kid
scared.
feels like this, and what does that mean about you? Is it easy
Mm-hmm.
to say this is not true, it's a cry for help, or
It
then to
makes you
me
feel like you have to be strong or that you're weak to say you're depressed when someone says
mm-hmm.
that. And
Yeah, but
it's a matter of
the
education.
parents themselves, they're just like the kid says, "Okay, I don't feel great. I'm depressed." I'm like, but that says something about their parent, right? They may feel like that. Like you don't want your kid to say that to you, right? Like what did I miss? What didn't I do? What
Oh, right. Then they put it on themselves, and then so they get
yeah,
scared,
so
and
it's
then it's
easier for them to be like
anger.
not true than
Right, it has nothing to do with you. The child is just feeling that way. Well, maybe it has something to do with you. Maybe it does, but don't take it, to you offense right
it's
now.
true,
That
but it
maybe
takes
don't.
a certain amount of courage
Mm-hmm.
for the parent to admit that there's something wrong with their child.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of guilt there.
Yeah, but it takes courage too. No one wants to feel like there's something wrong with their child. Oh, you're fine. I've had more trauma than you. This is nothing.
Oh, and then there's that. Exactly. Yeah, because we keep saying that the cul-de-sac kids growing up with hood parents, right? So we like, oh, you didn't have to take the train 9 hours to school like me. You just go to the bus stop. And it's kind of like, okay, we feeling like what they dealing with is not as bad as what we dealt with, but
yes. But that's also not acknowledging. It's easier not to acknowledge and deal with because it's hard. You never dealt with your own stuff.
Avoidance.
You
Exactly.
don't know how to deal with it, or you may have dealt with your own stuff. So the kid's coming to you and you can't even deal with it yourself. How is that working?
Oh,
Right.
you're triggered and you're re-traumatized listening to that trauma. So we just all need to go home and get therapy.
I can't deal with this, right? And that's the kid's biggest fear, that they're going to tell their parent, they're not going to have this response. Like, I had someone today, like, I actually talked to my parents and they handled it way better than I thought.
Mm-hmm. Someone said people fear the idea of losing custody of their kids due to a mental health diagnosis. That's unfortunately real. That you would fear the custody, but it's not your fault if someone has a mental health diagnosis.
I don't think, I mean, I haven't seen it. I mean, that someone will take your kid away because they develop a mental, they can't even,
I've heard someone
get them beat.
That actually happened. That actually did happen. Like, it was a big thing.
Yeah.
One of the places I work at. I don't want that to be obvious, but yeah, that was
what happened.
Where the parent, I think it was a custody issue between like the two parents, and so the one kid kept saying they were suicidal, and the parent was just like, no, they're not suicidal, we need to clean this up. And we're like, what do you mean if they're suicidal?
No, that's different. It's not because the kid had a mental health. That's because that's medical neglect.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Those
are two different things. Don't confuse those.
No. We're talking about the same thing, because they're saying that if they have a mental health issue, they fear their child's going to get taken away.
If the adult has one.
Oh, I don't think it said if the adult has one.
If the child has one.
Yeah, if the child has a mental health issue.
So only if you don't treat it. That's just like if the kid has appendicitis and you don't take him to the hospital. Yes, we're going to take your child.
Well, yeah, then it really will be an issue.
Yeah,
right. So you're fair.
Situation, they were saying, no, you don't have anything. That means they're not getting treatment. So that's considered medical neglect. Yes, we will take that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, if you're actually not taking them.
Yes, because you don't want people to know and you're not treating it. That's medical neglect. It's not because they have an illness.
Correct. It's not that, but the stigma makes people in fear.
Yes, it's only, that's why I want to clear it up. It's only if you're not getting them treatment, it's considered medical neglect.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so if the adult has one, okay, got it.
Adult has one, and it's not treated, it's still the same thing.
So like if treated. Right, because we were saying that the adults who don't get treated, and their kid comes up to them, they're depressed, and it activates their depression. Mm-hmm. And so then I guess they fear that their child will get taken away if they're depressed and they can't take care of their kid. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All of it. Anytime you have a medical problem and you don't get it treated, that's or that you aren't treating your child's medical issue, those are all problematic. Yes.
Yeah.
That is not a safe environment. So, yes. But just because someone has a diagnosis doesn't mean anything. In fact, people who are in treatment are less likely to hurt themselves. It's the people who don't get help that
are more likely, who suffer in silence.
Exactly. Who commit suicide and die from it.
Yeah, but these not little fears, these big fears are real, because there's people who are undocumented. They don't want to take their child to the hospital because they're fear of getting deported. They don't have insurance. They're fear of a big medical bill. And, all those things are real. But at the end of the day, if your child's suicidal and they're going to take themselves out, you're not going to worry about a medical bill anyway, because they're dead. So it's like, we got to take them there.
Yeah. So I think that's true. But I think we have to reframe it as this is a medical emergency as opposed to a mental health issue. Because for some reason, people don't take it the same. Like, when you're in residency and you had these hospitalized kids, and people will be like, well, it's going to mess up our vacation. What?
Let's be true. We all had some type of thought that way, like, oh, why you got this ear infection? I got to take you to the doctor. We all had these thoughts, but you still do it. You still take
Exactly. So, but if you got into a car accident and it was life-threatening, are you like, no, don't use the ambulance?
No, I'm good. It's too expensive. I'll be okay with that.
You're thinking save this child's life. So I think once we start thinking about suicide in that way, that this is a medical emergency, then people can act accordingly.
And believing that they're not doing it just to get attention. because then you're just like over it. Because if you think they're doing,
I don't even know what does that mean though?
I'm just telling you all the things I've heard. People think their child is looking for
13,
attention.
what was that on Netflix, 13 Reasons or something? The letters, all that. We had a spike in kids killing themselves because of that. But but what is that saying? That if you, okay, so let's say I think you're saying that you want to kill yourself because you want attention. Right? Like, let's say that's
or people think the cutting, like they want to show. You can't see depression.
But let's say that I'm thinking you're just saying that you're suicidal because you want attention. Okay. How deprived of attention is that child if they have to resort to that?
Well, don't you have patients who willingly say, I wasn't suicidal, I was just angry, so I said it?
I don't. Nope, you said it. You're going to the hospital.
Well, no, they do. And so when I'm interviewing them, I'm like, okay, but if you weren't really suicidal, you were just angry, but look at where you ended up.
No.
So let's choose another thing to say.
Maybe, but I believe it. I always.
No, yeah, they should go. Right, correct.
Yes. No, but I even believe that kid was suicidal at the time, right? They're just backtracking the family, the embarrassment, the negative attention.
Okay.
They don't want to be there, right? Like everyone like, no, I'm fine. It was just impulsive. What does that mean? No, none of that.
Well, I never thought of that.
All of these things make it worse, not better.
Yeah, that's true.
It's you got like so angry that you tried to commit suicide. Like,
not try, but say. Now, if you tried, now I'm not going for it. You actually tried, you really meant to, or you were impulsive, but you did, and you could have killed yourself. So you're going somewhere. But yeah, if you said it, then it's kind of like a gray area there. But I hear you.
None of it's gray.
Oh, they were going to the hospital.
Medical emergency, you're going. No, you don't play with that.
You shouldn't say it. There's other things to say. I'm frustrated. I'm angry, and I want to kill myself. Yeah, exactly.
The only time I'll take that is maybe with an autistic kid, just because they're like very literal and they may actually not know. And then you teach them these are the words that you say in the situation. No, that's fine.
That's real, because you don't just have "I want to kill myself" at the tip of your tongue. You've been thinking about it. Now it's coming out because you're angry. You're right.
Yeah. You've gotten to some, and even in the progression of suicidality, first you're thinking about it, then you start to practice and have different ways. And there's like a progression of thought, right?
Yeah.
So if you're to the point where you're screaming it out or saying it out loud, that's a progression. Yeah. That's a dangerous progression.
For sure.
And we need to like identify and treat that. And sometimes that's how kids come to mental health treatment. But they are really that hopeless and desperate.
Yeah.
And so if we don't take them seriously at that point, they can die.
Oh, and just be gone.
They're gone. And the first attempt is usually successful.
Wow. Yeah, especially for boys. They use the lethal methods. Girls are starting to use that too now.
Yeah, it's true.
Have you ever lost a patient to suicide?
Not in my office, but not my actual patient.
Yeah, I did in 2021, and it was the therapist called me. She was crying. I was like, "Whoa, what happened?" And it was the worst. It was the worst.
Yeah.
It's like I thought she was on a good path. And
how old was the patient?
She was 16. Yeah. Remember her first and last name. Remember that. It's terrible. And the parents, obviously she was in care. She was on medication. She was in therapy. And it's like, for some people who really have that on their mind, it seems like there's nothing you can do to stop it. But that's why we really got to help them do the work and be there for them and support them, because it is preventable. That's what all this is about. It is preventable, but it's like you really feel like you took a loss.
Yeah, and that's, I think also like I feel like it's always going to be some regret around that too. Woulda, shoulda. We could have done this. We could have done that. And You don't want to put yourself in that situation. Do what you can when you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
There was a patient at Georgia Tech who was lost to follow up, but he had a rough semester, didn't fail anything, but his parents were on him about the grades, and he bought a gun that day, went in front of his parents, and shot his brains out in front of his parents.
Oh God, that's the worst.
What? That's insane.
What are you thinking? Like, I don't know. And this is a non-psychiatrist thing for me to say, because some people say like that's the most
parent thing to do. Are you putting on your parent hat now?
I'm putting on my parent hat. I'm taking on my psychiatrist, because a lot of people feel like suicide is a selfish thing, right? Because there's people, but they're not thinking that they have a depressive disease. But then, yeah, when I'm thinking about doing it, when you do it in front of your parents too, it's just like you wanted to hurt them, or you weren't thinking.
It's all of it.
I'll put my psychiatrist hat back on.
But I want people to realize that it's not just depression. Anxiety and trauma can cause these thoughts too. And it is an anxiety disorder, but has a big part of depression because what happened to you is suddenly, right? So, but people get so anxious and don't want to live like that anymore, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not just depression. People that, and listen to people when they tell you who they are, believe them.
Yeah. And drunkicidal is a real symptom. It should be in the DSM. People get drunk and they're suicidal. I literally told a patient the other day, I was like, okay, so you were drunkicidal. Like I said it with a serious face.
Right.
And he laughed. He was like, yep. I'm like, oh, you're still going to take yourself out.
Exactly. And that's the worst. Because the alcohol or drugs, those are the worst. And people think weed is helpful, but it's a depressant. Alcohol is a depressant. They exacerbate all of these negative things. So they're not helping. It's fake. Just so your body can get addicted, right?
Let's just end on the high here. Thinking about the parents, I'm like, oh Lord.
I know, in front of the parents, you can't unsee that, right?
But see, I'm glad we're telling these stories. It's like that's why we all got to get out here and talk and get people help and get this stigma out of here. QPR, question, persuade, refer, get therapy.
It's like, true. And the patients hate you for going, but afterwards they're like, yeah, I really needed that. Like one student she was in middle school and we hospitalized her. And she said, if we hadn't done it that day, she was going to go home. She had everything ready. And she told the mom where her suicide box was while she was in the hospital. And they were able to collect it and do all that, but she was going to do it. Like she was that serious, and no one realized that she was that ill. But since we're on the side of caution,
yeah. And I was talking about that last week, how there's some type of relief or like a little bit of increase in mood right before suicide, because you start to feel like, okay, I'm doing this.
I got it out because you have an escape. That's where Cirque du Soleil comes in.
Right.
Some people need that escape plan. Like if you feel trapped, that's not ideal for humans. So having different ways, like I don't have to live like this. I can actually pick up and change this. I don't have to work in this toxic environment. I can get a new job. Like I don't have to be here. I think that's one thing, like in college, if you're like working a side job, or high school, you're working a side job, none of that stuff matters there, because you can this isn't the end all be all, and you can get.
That's true.
But when you're an adult, for some reason, you feel like you have to stay
forever.
Yeah. You can still get up and leave and get a new job.
That's what that self-worth is all about. If you're feeling that underappreciated, like, nope, I'm gone. This is what I want. Knowing your true passion.
And be peace out.
I have quite a few people coming to me. The FMLA.
There we go.
I say LMFAL.
These are environments that happen. You don't have to stay in this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. One last question before we leave. if somebody's like really hurting right now, what is at least one thing they could do to kind of help switch their mind if they're
I
feeling
would
deep?
say reach out for support. That's what they need to do, because right now this is obviously too much for them. So reach out for support. If it's a family, if it's a spouse, if it's a mentor, if it's somebody, reach out and let somebody know.
Tell
Because
somebody.
yes, because at that point you're not working on all four cylinders, right? Like you're not
And
firing
that's,
on all
yeah,
cylinders.
it
You need
happens.
support. So I think that let somebody know so that we can like take over and do that executive functioning or get you in to see someone, or like just let someone know. Like that's the biggest thing. Like kids, adults, anyone, let someone know so we can at least have a fighting chance. Because right now, once you're to that point, a lot of people are no longer like thinking logically.
Correct. Yeah. So you got to get the help so we can help you get back to that logic thinking. And DrEnjoyLife.com, I see patients for medication and therapy. If you're at Georgia Tech, is where you can find Dr. Zakers.
Or my side gig on Lakshmi Health and Wellness.
Oh yes, there it is. No, wait, so that's for the health and wellness. Do you see patients for therapy and medication, or just?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I should have had your website out. Okay, but you're at I had your Instagram up earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, say your website again.
Healthcenter.net.
Got it. Okay, great, awesome. Well, thank you for being here. I love having you back. This is still not the last one. We could talk forever, but we're gonna go ahead and end it. I hope everybody watched this. This is a good one about suicide. Real raw information here.
Let someone know, please.
Yes. Thank you so much. And thank you for listening, and thank you for your comments. This has been an Enjoy Life production. If you're in a crisis, don't hesitate. Call, text, or chat 988 for immediate support. Please note, this podcast is for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional treatment. If you're looking for therapy or medication management through Enjoy Life, visit www.DrEnjoyLife.com to request a consultation. I'm licensed in 12 states. I accept Aetna in Georgia, Florida, and Virginia. Be sure to grab your copy of the Enjoy Note to help you on your wellness journey. Also check out Inspire Joy for the wife, mom, boss to help you balance it all without losing yourself. Better yet, get the full Joy bundle for just $45. Remember, Journey to Joy Live is every Thursday at 7 p.m. Thank you for joining me, and until next time, may you continue to transform stress into joy.